Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are going to be interviewing Kandace Chimbiri as it's going to be Windrush Day soon. If you don't know what the Windrush is like an evolution where people from the Caribbean moved to England to find a better life. So here are the books that we're going to be asking her about during the interview. The first one is The Story of the Windrush. That she said it's more of an educator's book, so for schools and also at home for joy reading. Then this one is a nice colourful background. It's The Place for Me, Stories about the Windrush Generation. In my opinion, the second one gives me the carnival vibes. Also because it's very nice. There's a fat file to go with every picture and every story.
We really hope that you enjoy this video, and we're looking to do a bit more like this. I think it was really nice to actually have a face-to-face, and also that you guys can also witness that as well. So
make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Enjoy the video.
Bye! Hello and welcome to our channel. We would like to say a big welcome to Kandace also for joining us. And as you know, or you might not know, today is Windrush Day. And we wanted to celebrate by speaking to well-known authors. Got a few questions, and the first question will be, can you explain what the Windrush generation means?
The Windrush generation is a phrase that comes to mean a group of people, and different historians use it in different ways. So I would say there are three main ways. Some people mean everyone who came from the Caribbean around the time of the Second World War, whether or not they are of African ancestry or not. So some people include people who are from the Caribbean or came from the Caribbean during that period, who were also of Asian descent and Chinese, Indian descent, as well as African descent. So they include everybody from the Caribbean. Other historians use it to mean only people who came from the Caribbean who are of African descent. And some other people use it to mean everybody of African ancestry who came during that period, whether they came from the Caribbean or from Africa, because they say their way of looking at it is that whether they came from the Caribbean or they came from Africa, they were all treated the same and they had the same experience. So historians never always agree. So there are different ways that the phrase is used. But generally speaking, most people understand it to refer to the people of African ancestry who came from the Caribbean. And the period that we're talking about is roughly around the time of the Second World War. There were people of African origin living in Britain before the Second World War, but this phrase usually means the people who came sometimes during the war and remained, or came during the war and went back and then came back again. And so that was around 1945. And some people include the period right up to about 1971 or 1972. So all the people, they didn't all come on the Windrush ship, but that ship has given its name to that whole generation.
Interesting, because my grandma, she didn't come on that ship, but she came around that time. But yeah, you would always associate, well, I was always associating the ship as in part of the Windrush, it is quite a significant symbol of it. But yeah, it does make sense because my grandma came, I think, around that time, but not with everyone, kind of thing. So yeah.
And my parents came from Barbados in the 60s. So my dad came in 1962, my mum came in 1965. So that's a long time after the ship came in 1948, but they're still included in that phrase, the Windrush generation.
Oh, really good.
Yeah, so the next question is, can you tell us about your new book, The Story of the Windrush?
Yes, my book, have it here actually, The Story of the Windrush. There's actually two versions. I originally self-published the book. This is the one with the white ship on the front. You might not be able to see it because of the glare, but
Yeah.
this is the one that I did in 2018. And I self-published this book. I funded it myself, did everything, no, not all the drawing, but put everything together and published this book myself. And then it was reprinted. This is the new version in October 2020, so October last year, by Scholastic, which is a UK publisher, a big educational publisher. More or less the same book, a few little tweaks, some changes. We changed the ship from white to grey to be more reflective of how it actually looked when it brought the passengers over. So this is the book. It's very small. It's 48 pages, so it's a easy to read book, but it captures the story of people coming from the Caribbean to Britain on this ship in 1948. It talks a little bit about how they came, why they came, some of their experiences. So yeah, that's my little book, The Story of the Windrush.
Oh, it's brilliant. And is it featured in school libraries or?
Yes, a lot of teachers were already using it, and now it's been reprinted by Scholastic, so it's getting out to a wider audience, which is really great. Lots and lots of schools have been using the book. They use it for classroom sets. They use it for the history, but also for reading, because the way the text is written, it's a book that children can read together as well. They also have free resources that were produced by Scholastic that can be downloaded and used with the book in other areas as well. And I also do virtual school visits. And so I get to meet lots of children all over the UK that are using the book. So yeah, it's being used in
It's
schools
really
and
good.
libraries.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, when I went to school many years ago, I don't remember having we had textbooks, the usual ones, but we didn't have really lovely, it's like a short history book, isn't it? But as you said, it's really easy to read. And we read it together as a family as well. And I've got a younger little one, he's 6, so it was very digestible to read to him, and then we would go off and do a bit more research. But it's nice that as you said, it's a quick read as well, but you can go off and do extra research yourself, so that's quite nice as well.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that's the idea of the book. I mean, when I did it as a hardback book. Obviously, that cost me a bit more. It wasn't my first book. I'd done 3 books before this, but I really wanted it to be hardback so that it could be, a celebration of a very important group of people, but also so that it could be well used. And I wanted to keep it small. I didn't want it to be a book that you would read and then think, oh, I know everything now. I did want it to be lots of bits of information that then exactly what you've done, you could go away and look into things a bit more and find out more. So that's really great when I hear people say that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll read the next one. So you recently collaborated in the Place for Stories About the Windrush Generation book, very long title, but a good one, which has a collection of stories and fact files. So how do you begin your research for the fact files?
So this was a little bit challenging because of the pandemic, because whereas with the Story of the Windrush, I had written that in 2017, planned it to come out in 2018 for the 70th anniversary of the arrival of the Windrush. This one, The Place for Me, Stories of the Windrush Generation, was a book commissioned by Scholastic to support the Black Cultural Archives. And with this particular book, the time frame that we had to do it, unfortunately, we were during the coronavirus pandemic, which meant it was really difficult to get into the archives to do the research. But fortunately, because I had already done the Story of the Windrush book, and as we said, it's quite a small book and not everything is in it. So I already had a lot of information that I hadn't put in the Story of the Windrush. So I was able to use that and then add to it through dealing with the Black Cultural Archives remotely. So I was able to access some of their information by them emailing it to me, by going onto a kind of a file website thing that they had. So it was a little bit more tricky and it wasn't ideal, but I was still able to do the research using modern technology like we are now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's such a lovely, what can I say, collection of stories from real life, Windrush generations, like the elders, and there's your fact files. It's just a nice balance. the photography. I love photography anyway, but just looking at all the photography. So you're right, it's a little bit more than your one, but it's like nice and it's like personalized. I think that's my personal opinion. I feel like it's personalized with like the letters and the experiences they had. It's really nice.
I think it's quite nice as well having the balance of the stories with the fact files. I quite like that because you can, obviously you're reading a story. So obviously with the story of the Windrush, it's called the story of the Windrush, but it's sort of like a factual story, it's facts. With this, you're reading made up stories, but the stories are based on what the authors found in the archives. So that it's inspired by, and they are reflecting still real experiences. And then, yes, having the fact files throughout it, I think works really well. So I loved the idea. When I heard it, I couldn't wait to get working on it. I was really happy.
No, definitely. And the illustration at the front's really lovely as well. All the colourful, we've got it here, sorry.
Yeah, pictures.
All the pictures.
The cover's nice too, and like the colour palette with the yellow.
You like the colour palette, yeah. I mean, the artist, I've never met her. She's actually she's going to be doing my next book as well. Joelle Avellino, I think that's how you pronounce her name correctly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think her work looks really good.
Nice. So the last question is, what can we expect from you next?
Oh, that's
the best question. All the other questions are lovely, obviously, but we always love to know what writers are doing next, if they can tell us.
I can tell you, I'm working on lots of things. I have to be honest. I'm just at the moment thinking, now is my chance to get all those books out that I want. But the next book that's coming out is going to be called The Story of Afro Hair, 5,000 Years of History, Fashion and Styles. So it's quite a wide range. It's going to have some Black British history that people generally don't know. Some of it I didn't know until I started researching the book. It's going to be also obviously having some ancient history in it and some modern history from other places as well. And as I mentioned, the illustrations are by Joelle Avellino, the same lady who did the illustrations for The Place for Me.
Yeah.
And it's a very unusual book. That's all I'd say. Even when I was writing it, I was thinking, this book is a bit different. So I hope people are going to like it.
No, it sounds really amazing. Definitely something we're looking forward to. Yeah, just like just the title. I mean, can you imagine what kind of history that's going to be? It's like, we're really excited about it. So yeah, really excited about that. Yeah, we just wanted to say thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us. We always love speaking to you. We've spoken to you before. The very first time we launched on the blog, so you guys can find that blog and read all about your journey of the story of the Windrush, the first book. So, and also your other projects that you did beforehand. That was a really nice interview, so you can find that. But we just wanted to say thank you so much. We'll speak soon.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.